Hello, all you scaredy cats and kittens, and welcome to the Two Scaredy Cats podcast, where we talk about all things strange, unusual, and paranormal. We're your hostess with the mostest. I'm Stacy.
And I'm Kara.
So, Kara, let's see. It's been a hot minute since we talked to you last, right? I can't remember. No, we talked the other.
Last week.
We just
Technically last week.
Yeah. I'm sorry. We just released a podcast, so we're all good, caught up. So that was Japan, and you haven't been.
Yeah, well, I was talking about that place I went to. Didn't we? I think we talked about the like Wildwood Inn place in Kentucky.
No, we have not talked about that yet. So where did you go? You just went somewhere like yesterday.
I went somewhere interesting. Yeah. 2 days.
Where did you go, and what were you doing?
So that was the Wildwood Inn. It's in Florence, Kentucky, where we're from. And I've always seen it. I was always curious about it. Well, I finally got to stay in it. Which
and
I think
it was
fine. I think if you get the themed rooms, because they have these really cool and unique themed rooms. Like they have the one that we stayed in was the pirate ship room, so it looks like an actual, like you're literally on a pirate ship. It's pretty cool how it was set up. And you could tell they spent a lot of time like painting it, because it was all like hand painted, like the walls and stuff. I was like, okay. They have like a jungle room, and then they have like a cave room. It's like they have a New York City room. They have interesting themes. They have like I think it was an Aztec room or something.
Interesting.
Yeah, but it was cool. I mean, you go there for the service. It was very sketchy because it's a motel. So when you pull in, you're like, oh. The free breakfast we did the free breakfast in the morning. Yep. It was just two waffle makers and some that was
Wait,
it.
That was
there were
it?
A few other things, but it was maybe one or two bagels. And so
wait a minute, that was it? Oh my god, that's terrible.
I was like, oh. I mean, I was excited because I love waffles.
Wow.
And they just had normal coffee and apple juice and stuff, and they had milk.
Oh.
But I was like, what? It was bare bones. I mean, looked like it was in a hotel room that they just gutted and set up. I mean, it's free, so
that's funny.
It is what it is.
You can't. Yeah,
they also
had
the cool room, the cool the dome room they call it there, where it looks cool with the pool, and then it has a hot tub. So we hung out in the hot tub,
a tiki bar, and all that, right? Did they have a tiki bar? They used to have a tiki bar when I went there.
But it was very bare bones.
Oh, really? They must have taken the tiki bar out. There used to be a tiki bar.
I mean, to be fair, there was maybe... Well, so it's open until 11 p.m., so we were there at 10 at night, and there was literally no one else there. It was just us. Which was nice, because we basically got the hot tub to ourselves.
Right.
It was nice they were open so late. We saw a few families in the when we first checked in, but... It seems like it's only worth it if you really stay at the cool themed things. It's one of those kitschy things, it's not really campy. It's very campy. If have your expectations low, it's not great customer service. I mean,
it's very nostalgic, is what you're trying to say. I think yes,
but it's
a throwback to the good old
themed.
days.
Well, no, it's very themed. Right. Like I said, they had bunk beds.
Yeah, it sounds kind of cool, though.
Oh, yeah, it looked really... Like I said, it looked cool, and it worked for what we wanted, because we wanted, photos in a pirate ship, and there's not many around, real ones.
No? Right, yeah.
So,
cool.
It was cool. We're thinking about going back again, but trying a different room.
Fun.
Yeah.
We went on the ghost train ride on Saturday in Metamora, Indiana. That was interesting. I thought it would be this cool thing where they were gonna explain all these murders and all that, mayhem and all that happened there in town, and it was not like that at all. It was still cool, don't get me wrong, and the price was not bad at all. It was $15, and they sell out quickly. So if you're gonna go, you gotta order your tickets before you even get there. Otherwise, you're not gonna get on the ghost train to nowhere. But other than, it was cool. And the town was really neat because they had it all decorated for Halloween, and they had people in costumes that were going around. Oh my God, the one guy about scared the bejesus out of me. He was pretending he was a statue in front of this one shop, and he was dressed up he looked really creepy. And then all of a sudden he started moving and was following behind me. And then he tapped on my shoulder, and I about lost it. But But other than that, it was neat. I would like to go back and just check out the town with all their cute little shops, but they were mostly closing up by the time we got there. And they had some of them decorated like from Little Shop of Horrors. So they had like the plants, like it was really cool. They had made them out of foam or whatever.
What's the plant say?
It was really neat. I can't remember, but. Because me and Dad were trying to remember that, but I couldn't remember what her name was. It Audrey?
Audrey.
It was Audrey. Gosh, are you okay? You sound like you're dying.
I can't breathe for a second.
Oh my God. Deep breaths. But anyway, so they had these really cool things of Audrey that were all over. You could take your picture near and stuff. So it was pretty cool. And they had some cool animatronics. They had this really creepy decoration, like you could take this little trail, like haunted trail thing, and walk on it, and they had these dolls that were carrying like this dead body off and stuff. And they had some really creepy dolls. I was like, ooh, that's a little too creepy. But other than that, we had a nice time. So that's what we did this past weekend.
It's fun. We also went to Hooters after our little
Oh yeah? Oh, interesting. I've never been to Hooters.
Really?
So yes, and I'm proud to say it.
It was
never went.
Well, it was extra funny because we all went dressed up in costume.
Oh wow!
So
I'm sure they love that.
I mean, no, I thought the girl thought it was fun.
Well,
interesting.
you're lucky it's that time of year.
Oh, I know.
So
they were asked us if
with it.
I was like, you know what, we can only get away with this because it's that time of year, and they were like, oh,
yeah,
were you guys at like a Halloween thing? We're like,
yeah, I would have just been
like that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it sounds like the way to do it. So we have some exciting news to talk about in a little bit here. But first, Kara is going to tell us about whatever her story is about this week. So what do you got, Kara?
Well, we're going to be talking about an interesting Bigfoot encounter in Colorado, which is related to our other stuff. We're talking about Colorado today.
Yep. The good old state of Colorado.
So, our story takes place in Bailey, Colorado, which is about 45 minutes southwest of Denver. It's a small town in the Rockies. The town is embraced. They have, like, a very large amount of Bigfoot sightings in that area specifically, where they've actually, like, opened their own. The Sasquatch Outpost it's a Bigfoot store, and it's also a museum they turned it into.
What?
Yes.
Okay, so we need to go there then.
It's only 45, like I said, 45 minutes. We might have to do it
right, well,
when we first get there.
Snowing or raining.
Like I said, we get there really early in the morning, so in Colorado.
Yeah, we'll have to check that out.
So I think it'd be worth it, and then we can go up to Estes from there. But yeah, it looks like it's pretty interesting, and I really want to talk to these people because I was watching the documentary. It's not on our way, but it might be kind of near the airport, so it might not be, like, too big of a detour. It sounds pretty interesting. And they have, like, this place didn't start as a outpost. Like, well, just, like, a Sasquatch themed. It actually started out as a, grocery store. But they realized they were making more money off of their, like, Bigfoot products than they were, like, on normal products. So they completely changed their store structure, and they only sell, like, really cool, interesting Bigfoot stuff.
Oh, sounds neat. What's the name of the documentary that you watched, in case anybody wants to see it?
The Bigfoot of Bailey, Colorado, and the Portal.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about the Portal soon.
Oh boy.
We can actually probably see the tree because it's on the property, like, in this little town.
Oh, okay.
But they've had a lot of. It seems like they've really embraced it. You know how, like, some cities, like, when they have cryptids, they'll, like, embrace it and be like, yeah, you know what? Yeah. We're getting a lot of tourism from this. We might as well go all in.
Like Mothman in West Virginia there, where the whole town has just embraced it. Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, those kind of creatures were like, you know what? We might as well. So our story actually begins in 2022, so this is pretty recent. They've always been, like, a Bigfoot area, but so this happened in Glen Isles. It's like a inn resort there. That's been there for, like, ever. It's really old. But, so a Bigfoot researcher went to go to the gift shop inside there to give a book to the owners about an alien encounter. The lady working at the time, when she takes the book, she's like, oh, because she saw the title was, like, about being aliens, and they're like, oh, I've been abducted by aliens. Like, that's such a weird thing to say. So.
Right? Yeah, really. Let's just blurt that out.
So they talk a bit about her experience, like what happened. It was when she was like a teenager. And then she says, actually, I want to show you something else. So she brings him outside to a tree. And she talks about how this is a spiritual tree. It's / prayer tree that was verified by shaman of the Ute tribe.
Okay.
Which, it's like a Native American tribe in Colorado.
No, yeah,
but it's also the same tribe that is by the Skinwalker Ranch.
Oh,
which is very interesting.
Yeah, interesting. Because Bigfoot and the aliens go hand in hand, apparently.
Well, there's also been Bigfoot sightings at Skinwalker Ranch we've talked about. Because we've talked about Skinwalker Ranch quite a bit on the podcast. Which I was like, okay, so there's some sort of tie-ins to Skinwalker Ranch, which is kind of curious. Something I remembered from Skinwalker Ranch was that they have like those portals as well. Like we talked about, like where they would see things coming out of the portals, like creatures and stuff. And I thought it was like, okay, interesting, because this whole thing is about how they think that a Bigfoot is traveling through this tree. We don't know where he's going.
That's crazy.
But yeah, it is definitely interesting. So this place, the Sasquatch Outpost, not only do they do like sell stuff, but they also have like expeditions you can go on with them. They will take you to see like they'll bring you through the areas, and they'll do like the tree knocking to try to see if they can get reactions out of the Bigfoot. And like a lot of people leave with like some sort of experiences, at least maybe not even seeing something, but like experiencing it or feeling it.
Yeah.
They have like these night hikes. You can go on camping expeditions too. They'll take you camping out there. They have horse ones. But so like one of these groups, they were having like a little thing where they're all hanging out. They said, let's go pray on the tree. They decided to try. So they all go and they put their hands and you're supposed to close your eyes and like think, positive thoughts and the energy of the tree. It's interesting.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
But two of the people were the last two to do it, and they went up and they both did it. And at one point, the one guy opens his eyes and looks at the other, and he's not sure why he opened his eyes, but when he looked, he realized he could see a Bigfoot behind him.
Oh, wow.
Which he was like, so then he says, there's a creature behind you to the guy, and the guy opens his eyes and he's like, what? And then he says, I know. Like he could feel it, which is interesting.
Oh, okay.
And he also said that
weird.
it looked like the other guy was kind of like static, almost like there, but not really there. Which is interesting, but then he did see the Bigfoot behind him. And then from the other guy's point of view, he described it as hearing a bunch of weird sounds when he was putting his hands up on the tree at first. And then all of a sudden he felt like a very intense energy behind him. And then he was like, oh, interesting. And then he knew when the guy said, hey, there's a creature behind you, he knew that was true, that was like what he felt or whatever. So they end up
weird.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting. And then they end up deciding the tree further. They got like Bigfoot researchers and a medium and a channeler, and they use like a REM pod and EMF, and they try to do like a lot of things, and they did get some reactions, but not quite. It's one of those things where nothing ever does anything while you're watching it.
Right, like what? Yeah.
But I'd be definitely
Once
curious.
Once you bring all the good stuff out,
I want to check out the tree though. Now maybe we'll have a Bigfoot encounter.
Yeah, right.
It's right by the
maybe he'll come
outpost.
through and talk to us. Yeah, cool.
So we could go check out the cool tree. Maybe we'll have a Bigfoot encounter. But I mean, I guess it makes sense because it's like I feel like cryptids like those kind of woodsy areas, remote, because it's a pretty small town.
Yeah, and it's probably in the foothills of the Rockies.
Yeah,
correct?
like I said, it was in the Rockies.
So yeah, so that probably makes it even more enticing for.
It's just crazy how many people in that area. Like, so in the museum, I saw some photos of it, and they have like. You can bring in your own, like, experiences, and they'll, like, mark it, so they have, like, documentations of all the Bigfoot encounters, which is kind of cool.
Uh-huh.
They actually have their own podcast where they talk about some of the encounters as well.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So
check into that.
I was definitely curious when I heard about how a tree portal with Bigfoot was potentially teleporting from.
I've heard of other kinds of portals, but not a tree portal. That's new.
And it was like connected to like the Skinwalker Ranch a bit because it was the same tribe. Definitely. Was interesting.
Yeah, the Native Americans.
It might be like a similar kind of area where like they think like the Skinwalker Ranch is like a lot of high strangeness. So
yep,
it's probably a similar kind of vibe going on there.
Well, what line is it on? Do we know?
Oh,
which parallel?
I see what you're saying. The parallel.
Yeah, maybe we should check into that and see what parallel it's on. That'd be interesting to find out.
Well, Skinwalker Ranch is in Utah, right? I'm pretty sure.
Oh yeah.
Which I'm pretty sure they're on the same sort of, because like I'm looking at it, Utah and Colorado are right next to each other. Like the states, they border each other.
Okay.
Which makes sense why they would have like the similar Navajo.
Right. Tribes.
Yeah, like the tribes.
Yeah. I could see that. Yeah. Interesting.
Right. All right. Well, what are you going to talk about?
All right. So, okay. So finally, we're going to reveal what's going on. So we've been talking about it a little bit and being very secretive about it, but yeah, very vague. But we are going to Colorado to stay at the famous or infamous Stanley Hotel that Stephen King got his idea for The Shining from, and that was actually filmed for not the first movie, but Stephen King did not like the first movie that Stanley Kubrick made, and Kubrick, yes. Kubrick. So he decided that he didn't like the way he had handled Jack's descent into madness and all that, and so he wanted to reshoot it. So he reshot it actually as a miniseries for,
really?
I believe, yes.
I didn't know that.
I haven't seen it yet. Yeah, I know. I want to go check it out. I think it was on
What's
NBC or one of those.
Is it called The Shining or is it something else?
It's The Shining, but it's something. It's like it's got The Shining in it, but it's got a different
Sleep or something.
No. That's a sequel.
Oh, I heard that because I heard that is related to The Shining.
It is. It's Danny all grown up, and that's really good too. If you read the book, I like the book better than the movie. But anyway, so we're planning on going to Estes Park, Colorado, where the Stanley Hotel is, which we're going to be visiting. So we thought it would be interesting since we knew nothing about. I only know anything about it from the movie The Shining, and that's it. I don't know any of the history. So we thought it'd be interesting if we looked up the history of the place and kind of find out what we're getting ourselves into here. So I did some research on the Stanley Hotel and some of the crazy stuff that goes on there and what we get to look forward to. So,
oh boy.
I know. You're going to love this, Kara. So anyway, I thought we'd get us started. So, the Stanley Hotel is one of America's most notoriously haunted destinations, inspiration for Stephen King's acclaimed horror novel, The Shining. The Stanley is a 140-room colonial revival hotel in Estes Park, Colorado, and is one of the oldest hotels still standing in Colorado today. So I have a couple of fun facts before we get really deep into the hotel and who built it and all the different rooms and the hauntings.
Wasn't it built on like an Indian burial ground or something crazy?
Okay, yes, somebody did mention that, but I have not found any true facts on that. But there is stories.
In the movie? I think that was a part of the movie lore. I'm not sure if it was the real.
That's movie lore, and that's right. But so I was watching Sam and Cody, and I don't know if people know who they are, but there are some YouTubers that do a lot of paranormal places, like really scary places, and they had gone there and they ran into this weird, strange girl in this one that I'm watching about the Stanley, and she mentioned that it was built on a burial ground, but that was the only time I'd ever heard that. All the other research I've done, and I went to like 6 different websites and other, the actual hotel for information, and none of them said anything about it being built on a burial. I think that was just part of the lore from The Shining, from the book The Shining that Stephen King wrote. But anyway, so I have a couple of fun facts before we get launched into all the spooky, scary stuff that goes on. So some fun facts about the Stanley Hotel. It was the inspiration for the Stephen King's The Shining, which basically launched him into the stardom that he has today. And it was like his first novel that actually, won all these awards and sold, bazillions of copies and was made into a movie and miniseries and a sequel and all that crazy stuff.
I have a fun fact related to this. So when we are going is going to be the 50th anniversary of Stephen King staying at the Stanley, because we're actually going the weekend over. Because we're going the weekend of the Stanley,
his visit that he visited,
the Shining, hall.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, she is right about that, and I'll get into more about what happened when he stayed there. So, there was a gas explosion that happened on June 25th of 1911, and it destroyed a large section of the hotel. The hotel was designed by the inventor Freeland Oscar Stanley, who actually invented the Stanley sweepers.
Ah.
The hedge maze that is there now and the bar that was remodeled were added in honor of The Shining. So Stephen King went, I told you that he was not happy with the version that
I've heard that as well.
Of the actual movie. He actually talked to the owners of the Shining, and they changed the whole interior of the hotel, because originally if you've ever seen the movie Dumb and Dumber, it was like a lot brighter, and they went in and they remodeled the whole hotel the way that Stephen King wanted it, and they made it a lot darker, and so it would look more so for the movie or the miniseries when he ended up shooting it there.
Wait, so they both of them were shot there?
No,
the movie,
okay.
But the movie was shot there, though.
No, well, parts of it were, yes, but the interior shots were actually shot in a different hotel in Oregon.
But wasn't it I swear I feel like I think the exterior I thought were from a different area, not the interior.
That's what I meant. You're right. The exterior is from a different place.
The exterior was somewhere else, but I thought that
the interior were mostly shot there at the Stanley.
Okay.
Because it all ties into what happened to him when he stayed at the Stanley. And we'll get to that in a minute.
Okay, I got confused because the way you said it sounded like the opposite.
No, I know. I'm sorry. I messed it up. Yep. Yes, you're correct. It was just the exterior was the pictures from a different hotel in Oregon. And then the actual interior photos were all from the Stanley. So, the Stanley Hotel has had its fair share of unusual activities over the years. The hotel has been sought out by every major ghost hunting show, documentaries, paranormal podcast, and amateur ghost hunters. And many have discovered not one, but many paranormal hotspots around the hotel grounds. This haunted hotel boasts everything from full-body apparitions, strange sounds, disembodied voices, and other strange occurrences. Activities has been recorded in nearly every room of the hotel here at some time. Oh. Ooh, that's spooky, because we're going to be staying there, so that means our hotel room has
so we're not staying just because they have multiple kind of things at the Stanley, but we're staying in the actual historic part.
Okay, so the main
hotel, we're gonna be using that dang elevator from The Shining.
Oh yeah, that elevator! Oh my gosh,
so scary.
If there's blood in the elevator, I'm done. And they have not updated that elevator at all in since it's been built, I don't think. And they say it can only hold 6 people at a time.
Oh,
yeah.
Interesting.
So, yes, very interesting. So, Freeland Oscar Stanley was a Vermont inventor and owner of the steam-powered car company called Stanley Steamer. And he purchased the property in 1909. Now, before Stanley got a hold of it, it was owned by some other rich baron type guy that came over from England or whatever, and he loved it there in Colorado so much, he wanted to build a place for people from overseas to come visit and feel like they were, in this opulent paradise type hotel, and it was kind of very high end for the time. Well, the other guy's vision or idea did not go over. I mean, it went well until it burnt down to the ground, and I think it happened several times, and after the second time that guy was done and he moved on. So that's when Stanley saw the property and swooped in and decided that he was going to purchase it, because he used to live in Vermont. He moved to Colorado because he had been diagnosed with tuberculosis, which, as we all know from, other places that we've been and stuff, that it's a bacterial infection of the lungs, and it was, once you got it back then, you're pretty much dead. Oh. And Stanley had it so bad that his doctor basically told him that he'd meet him there in 2 weeks to sign off on his his autopsy, because they basically felt like Stanley was going to die out there. But he decided he was going to go out there because of the fresh air and all that. So he went out there, and he said that they say that after he had been out there for a couple of months, he started getting better. Like, he totally recuperated, and he lived to be like 90 freaking years old. So he basically beat it by moving out there.
Oh, wow.
So he was not happy with the rustic accommodations that he had been living in Estes Park. And he wanted to create a luxury resort. And because he was an inventor of all kinds of things that we still use today, he decided, I can do this. I can come up with a really cool place that people might want to come and visit. So he began to start building the resort, the Stanley, and it was a cost at the time of over $500,000 to build it.
Jesus.
And it ended up, that's a lot of money for back then.
I was like, wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's like how much most houses are around here today in our economy. But anyway, so he started, and that, think about that. So, like a 4-bedroom house today costs almost that much around here. That was a whole stinking 120-room hotel with, all kinds of, ballrooms and all kinds of crazy stuff. He ended up opening on the 4th of July weekend of 1909. Different locations that are rumored to be haunted around there. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first place that's haunted is the area they call it the Vortex. And this hot spot has garnered the attention of psychic mediums worldwide. It's actually the main staircase. And they say that and it basically connects the hotel lobby to the second floor. And it is believed to be a paranormal portal. And it is cited as the reason for why so many ghosts and lost spirits hang around there. Now, interestingly enough, if you look at pictures online of this particular staircase, and there are tons of photos out there of people capturing apparitions on, like, full-bodied apparitions of, like, a little girl is a popular one that a lot of people get pictures of on the steps there. But they also say you can hear disembodied voices when you're standing on those steps and stuff. But if you look around the steps, there are mirrors like all over there, and they all like face one another. And we all know from another podcast episode we had done, we talked about mirrors and how they can be a portal to, other planes of existence or even to the spirit world. And they think that because they have all those mirrors there, that it's helping attract all these spirits in that. So the Vortex is one of the hot spots that they have there. Another hot spot that we have is the concert hall. This was built by Stanley himself as a gift for his wife, Flora. Flora was very much into music, and she cherished it, and he ended up giving her a Steinway grand piano that he had gifted to her on the opening day of the hotel. And she would sit in the hallway there and play music. But interestingly, underneath the floor of the concert hall, there's like a stage there. He had put in a bowling alley for him and his friends. So while she's playing music, you could hear them, rolling bowling balls and stuff underneath the stage. Now, I believe the bowling alley is no longer there, as far as I know. From everything I've read and seen, it's no longer there. It's been, tore down or replaced or whatever. Her love for music has never left. Because even today, people say that if you are standing like in that concert hall, sometimes you can hear soft classical piano music playing. Oh. And they say you can hear it late at night. They say that these ghostly concerts have increased since the hall has been renovated in 2000. And it was also, they did some more construction work on it just recently. I want to say in 2020. I believe they did more updates on it. So this is like one of apparently the most active spots in the hotel. They also say that there was a young girl that, like a runaway or something, that was living in the basement of the concert hall, like underneath the stage. Oh. And she was had, taken up, like, she had like a whole room under there that she was like living in and stuff. And one day the contractors that were working there, the construction workers, saw her, and they ended up kicking her out. Like, they locked her out so she couldn't come back in. And it was snowing really bad, and the temperatures dropped below zero, and she ended up freezing to death outside. And they say that now, if you go into the underneath of the concert hall, that you can, in the basement down there, that you can see her. People have pictures like of her peeking out from stuff. And her name's Lucy. And they also say, okay, so we have to bring suckers with us, because they say that she loves like dum-dum suckers. And if you bring them with you and present them to her, or put them on your hand and have the stick sticking up, she will play with the sucker and like move it around in your hand.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, so we need to have some suckers with us when we go. But not only for her, because there's some other stuff we'll get to in just a second. So, the other hot spot that we need to check out while we're here. Yeah, I have a whole list of places we need to check out while we're there. The 4th floor. This is not as famous as some of the other areas, but it makes up for it on the amount of experiences that people have here. In fact, they say that the 4th floor is probably the most haunted place in the whole building at this time. In the early days, the 4th floor was an attic for storage during the winter months, because it was closed. So, like in the book, The Shining, you know how like they talked about the Overlook Hotel and that, which is basically the Stanley. He talked about how, remember it was closed for the winter and they were going there to be the caretakers, and they told him, nobody's going to be here. You're going to be locked up all by yourselves, and people have gone mad and all that stuff. Well, that really is truly what they did there. They shut it down. It was only open during the summer. They didn't have heat there. So, they do now, but back then they did not. So in the winter months, it would be closed down, and it wasn't until years later that it was built up. So first, it was in-house lodging for the female employees and their children. So they would all like live up there. It was like a bunkhouse for them. Okay. Then later, they turned it into the hotel suites that are there now. And those are some of the most active rooms in the hotel. Now, many guests on the 4th floor speak of children running through the halls, laughing and playing late into the night. And they say these are not guests of the hotel, that it's actually the little children that used to live there with their moms, and that they like to mess around and stuff. And they also like to go into people's closets in their rooms, and they'll like open and shut the doors. Like the doors legit open and shut on their own, Kara.
Oh, that's creepy.
Yeah, they have like all kinds of video of this. I'm like, oh my God, if I see a freaking door open or shut while we're there, I'm done. I will be sleeping in the lobby for the rest of our stay.
We got 2 nights in
I'm
there.
going to go sleep in the... I know. I'll just go sleep in the lobby or something.
That's
I don't know. Or drink lots of coffee
and
be...
You can't escape them.
I know. And I'll just be twitching out because I'd have so much caffeine in my body at that point.
Go sleep in the freaking car.
I don't know if that's any better, honestly. Oh, so there was actually a bear that busted in there one time too. They have it on video. Like a bear just like walks into the yeah, I'm like, okay, Kara, yeah, throw me in the car.
Well, what's scarier, a ghost or a bear?
I don't know. They're both pretty scary. The bear can maul me to death, and the ghost can, give me a heart attack. I don't know. That's a tough one. So the closet doors, like I said, are said to open and shut on their own. People's items have been known to disappear. They will go missing, and then they will reappear later, put away in drawers. Like the housekeeping staff is like, picking up behind you and stuff, which is kind of crazy. And they'll be, like I said, folded neatly in a drawer. Some people also hear very loud bangs in the walls. And the 4th floor is the highest floor in the building, and they will like hear stuff on the roof, like noises and stuff. So one of the rooms on the 4th floor that's supposedly haunted is room 428, and this is the one I really wanted to stay in. But this room is a lot of paranormal people stay in this room and stuff, and it's one of the most active rooms in the whole hotel. So this room has reports of heavy footsteps. Furniture will be arranged while you're sleeping at night. Now, I don't know about you, but if I hear furniture moving around, I'm going to wake up. Yeah. Because I'm a late sleeper, and yeah.
You need to wear some noise-canceling headphones and go to sleep and don't listen to any of the ghosts.
I'm telling you.
We're going to have to bring some. We're going to bring some noise-canceling just for you in case it gets too scary.
Yeah, and I also got my blinders, so I can't see anything.
Yeah, you're
either,
like
so we're at least good on
so if the ghost flickering the lights, you'll have your
yeah, I will not know. I will not know. I'll be in darkness.
I'm bringing mine too. I'm too nervous. Although if I get too scared, I can't sleep. So me and you might be both.
Neither
out
can
in the car.
I was gonna say, we might be like sitting down in the lobby drinking coffee and tweaking out. So, and the creepiest of all of the ghosts, there is apparently a lonely cowboy that has made himself known in this particular room. He will surprise sleeping guests by appearing on the edge of their bed. But that's not all our friend does. Apparently, locals believe it is the spirit of a gentleman by the name of James Nugent, and he's known as the Rocky Mountain Jim by the locals. And he was a local mountain man and explorer, and he was responsible, actually, for most of Estes Park's town being founded. Like, he helped found the town. But anyway, he's known as a ladies' man, okay? And his spirit likes to gravitate towards female guests. So sometimes he'll creep up on them if they're staying in that particular room, and he'll give them a cold kiss on the cheek at night. Okay, I don't know about you, but that's a little creepy in my world.
Yeah, it is.
So another room that's said to be haunted is room 401. This is like one of the most creepiest rooms. Like, people get really bad vibes from this room. It's said that it is haunted by an unfriendly male ghost. I believe somebody said it's like an Irishman. I don't know what his deal is, but women have been inappropriately touched while standing near the closet. So the moral of the story is, do not go near the closet, ladies, in that room. Okay. That's 401.
Hopefully we get that one.
Room, yeah, right? 407. People are tucked into bed and, like, literally tucked into bed when they lay down. And others have felt someone sit on the edge of the bed in that room. And they have the closet open and shut sometimes at night. Other people have reported that they'll see handprints on the mirrors every morning in the same spot when they wake up in the bathroom. All right, now finally we're to the fun room, room 217. Now this is the room that Stephen King and his wife stayed in when they were heading out of town for a getaway in October of 1974, and that is when this whole incident happened.
50 years ago.
So the weather,
yeah.
Yep, 50 years ago. So the weather had gotten bad, and they were on their way from Boulder to, it was either Boulder to Denver or Boulder to Colorado. I can't remember which place, but they were heading from Boulder to someplace else. And they were on the way there, and he needed some inspiration for a new book that he was working on that he was having trouble writing. Also, before he got in the car to do a little getaway, it was just him and his wife to do this little getaway. He had just finished The Stand. One of my favorite books ever by him. I love that. That is like my all-time favorite. But anyway. So, so they were on their way and they decided to stop at the hotel. So they stop at the hotel, but it was only open during the warm season at this time. And the staff was about to close it down for the season. So there was only one room that was left that had sheets on it for them to stay in. And it was like room 217. He says that when they got there, like, all the tables they were the only people eating in the dining room that night. And if you remember from The Shining, remember that? Like, all the tables were all, you know what I mean? They were all put away and all that stuff. That's where he got that from, because he literally experienced that when he was there.
Yeah, because it was in October.
Staying in that room.
So that's about when we're going, when they start packing
up. I know. Yeah. But they don't do that anymore. They're open year-round now. So... But it's different now. But anyway, but back then in the 70s, they had to shut it down because they didn't have heat, and they couldn't keep it warm and all that good stuff. So, in the middle of the night, King woke up from a dream, a crazy dream that he had about his son, who was not with him on this trip. So it didn't really happen. It was just a dream that he had. But the dream was so, startling and, scary for him that, it freaked him out. So in the dream, he had this image that his son was getting strangled in the hallway by a fire hose that was like a giant snake. If you guys all remember, that was actually in the movie The Shining. He said that after he had the dream, he freaked out, and he got up and he smoked a cigarette because he was so scared by it, and just sat in front of the window in their room and was looking out over the mountains. And that right there and then, he had the whole plot figured out for The Shining, basically what he was going to write. His stay in the dream helped him write The Shining and propelled him to the fame that he has today. Now, the room is rumored to be haunted by the ghost of a maid who had died. She did. Okay, so I got it because there's several different versions of this, and I found out the true version. So the maid who was staying there was caught in a gas explosion that happened during 1911 when they had a power outage. This had never happened before. It rained so much that however they were getting power to there. And by the way, during 1911, there were no places that had electric. This place had electric running to it. Remember, this is like on the side of a mountain, like going up into the Rocky Mountains. So no place back then during that time had all this. They had full running electric. They had water, like a lot of places didn't have that. And they had like air and stuff. Like a lot of places didn't have this stuff. But anyway, so their electric went down, okay? And they were using gas, like gas lanterns to light the rooms for guests. And somebody had spilt gas on the floor below her, so there was like gas leaking into the upper rooms. And when she lit a match, it ended up blowing up. It blew up like a whole side of the floor, and it ended up exploding on her. She ended up going down 2 floors and ended up in the dining room. She luckily lived and survived. She only broke both of her ankles, and she came back to work like 2 years later after that had happened. And she worked there for the rest of her life. So she didn't actually die in the hotel. But they say that she does haunt it, though, now. And she does not like when couples stay there that are not married. Like, she will seriously get in the middle of the bed. Like, you can feel a cold presence in the bed in between the both of you, so no hanky-panky or silly stuff happens. But it's known that if you also stay in that room, she's known to clean the room for you. Like, if you're kind of messy, she'll go around and tidy up and stuff like that. Adding to the mystery, though, of room 217, Jim Carrey stayed in the same room when he was filming Dumb and Dumber. Yes. Apparently, they changed all the decor in the hotel after Dumb and Dumber was filmed there, because originally the hotel looked like it does in Dumb and Dumber. If you remember, it was like really bright, and they had like a lot of gold and stuff inside of it. It was very, very, gaudy, I guess you could say. But anyway, so while he was staying there during the filming, he woke up in the middle of the night, stumbled down the stairs in his boxers, okay, and insisted the front desk notify, ask the front desk to not only switch his room, but that he wanted another hotel entirely. To this day, he will still not talk about what happened that night. Nobody knows what happened, but he won't talk about it. So something scared the beep out of him when he stayed there. Finally, the last section of the hotel that's like one of the hot spots are tunnels.
Oh,
there are tunnels.
Our tour is going into the tunnel, Gage told me.
Oh, okay,
so
cool.
I did hear about that.
Okay. So there are tunnels, and there really was somebody that died down there. So there are tunnels that were used by the staff back in the day because... So the guests would not see them, because back then, it was frowned upon to be seen, the staff running around and all that. And, but today they are filled in for safety reasons. But back then they were all opened up. But parts of them are still used by staff today to get around to the break room. I guess the break room's down, by the tunnels. But they say that in these tunnels, apparently a French cook, they said that he was like a pastry chef. He was killed down there when parts of the tunnel collapsed. So after that happened, they basically took down the rest of the tunnels for fear that it would collapse on somebody else. But he was on his way to the women's dorm room when the tunnel collapsed on him. But they say when you're down there, you can like feel his presence. Like he likes to hang out down there a lot, and you can smell like baked goods.
Oh.
It smells really sweet.
Maybe we'll smell that.
So we'll have to. I know, yeah. So we have to keep our noses, going so we can smell that. But anyway, he said he's known to appear down there from time to time. So, today visitors from all over the world still visit this Colorado gem. The Overlook Hotel that Stephen King created for The Shining may have been fictional, but his interpretations of horror's most haunted hotel room was not. and Room 17 and the Stanley Hotel continue to frighten us, not just in TV shows, movies, and books, but in the real world. So that's what we have to look forward to, Kara, next Thursday.
There's a lot going on
when we
there.
leave for our trip. I know. I'm like seriously freaking out. I think I'm going to have to pack a lot of pack some salt and some other stuff, man. I'm telling you. Some sage so we can sage ourselves. Oof.
Yeah, it's gonna be
intense. I don't know. Maybe nothing will happen, and that'll be great too. But
I'm sure we'll still feel it because it's such an old place, a lot of history.
Oh,
I feel like even when it's like an older place, you kind of still feel the vibes, like the uneasy vibes.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, and there's a mirror. If we get to see it on the tour in the basement of the concert hall, that is supposedly a portal. Also, like, people take pictures in front of this mirror, and like ghosts will show up like behind you, and like it's crazy. Like the amount of photos that are out there of like things showing up in the pictures with them. So we'll have to remember to do that too. But we need to have like flashlights and stuff with us, and yeah, all kinds of goodies.
Yeah, we'll have to prepare thoroughly for our ghost investigation.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're staying in a haunted room. I mean,
I know.
It's not the haunted room, but it is a haunted room in a haunted hotel. I don't think we could handle the really haunted ones.
I don't think we could either.
This is our on the training wheels version of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I feel like we'd be crying I mean, it would be bad. They'd be taking us out.
My friend stayed in the room once. Gage.
Which one?
Gage stayed at the 217 one you were talking about.
Really? The one that Stephen King... Oh, we have to talk to Gage.
We'll have to ask Gage about it if he had anything crazy. We'll have to... I'm sure you'll enjoy meeting Gage.
Yeah, I haven't met Gage. I've only seen them a few times. I haven't actually met them, though.
Yeah, they were supposed to come to the wedding, but they couldn't.
Oh, so then I've never met them.
Yeah, I don't think you've
for
met
some reason
Gage.
I thought they were at the wedding. No, I don't think I have either. Okay, well, that'll be interesting. So what else were you were going to say something else?
There's probably something related. Oh, so, because we're going during the Shining Ball is happening at the same time. We found out about it too late because we wanted to go to it. But, you know, there'll be a lot of other people there for the Shining. And it's supposed to be decorated, too. Like, they'll have a few things set up.
That'll be cool.
And they'll have the red rum, like, on the front, like, projected, which would be kind of cool.
Oh, that will be cool, yeah.
And they have it all lit up.
We'll have to get some...
It'll be fun.
We'll have to get some pictures out there and that. Maybe we can get some sucker to give us some their tickets.
I didn't realize there's a waiting list you can be put on for the ball.
What, did you put us on it?
I put myself on it, so hopefully maybe there'll be some tickets available.
Well, you didn't put me on it too?
Put yourself on it.
Well, where's it at?
I'll send you a link.
Yes, please send me a link. I want to get on that damn waiting list.
Because I'm guessing if people like cancel, they'll try and put other people in or something. I don't know.
I'm sure.
Because we're already going, so it's like we already got accommodations. We're going to be there regardless.
Right, I know, but it'd still be cooler if we could go to the ball.
I've heard it was like Gage has been before, and they said it was okay, but
yeah. Well, then maybe it's not.
Well, Gage really loves Stephen King, obviously. His
so
name is based off of Gage from Pet Sematary.
Yeah, the little boy, I remember.
The little boy.
The little boy, that went crazy after his dad buried him in the backyard. No, that was the little sister he buried in the backyard. Never mind.
Was it? I don't remember.
But anyway.
Regardless, we're going on a spooky adventure. You'll be hearing this the day we are there. Because this is to come out on Friday.
Hopefully we'll be able to post we'll be posting some stuff to Instagram, and I'm hoping at some point we might be able to go live for a little bit from there. I think that would be really cool if we did
live inside the Stanley.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Maybe so we might try and do that for you guys. And we'll hopefully be able to put some video up finally on YouTube, like actual video on YouTube.
Well, we should do a blog. Too. Or like a vlog.
Yeah,
that
sounds
not
good.
A vlog, but like a vlog where we take video.
Yeah, maybe we'll do that. We'll do like a video
adventures.
Yeah, bring that video camera that we bought.
Oh my god, that one that I bought.
Yeah,
we can probably just use a phone. It'll be better quality.
Yeah.
That one's like that one's good for ghosts, but I don't know if it's good for good high quality.
Oh, okay. We'll bring it anyway for ghost. No, I know, but bring it for the ghost.
Yeah, I'll bring that for the ghost, but I'm saying like we can just take a nice video on our phone or something.
Yeah, I'm sure our phones are probably better.
And then we can post it on as a little YouTube. thing.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll do like little shorts on YouTube.
No, like what we can do is we can put all the videos together.
And make one.
Splice it into a long video of like our whole trip.
We can do a short one first, a short one, and then make one long one out of it.
Sure.
Okay. Anyway, we'll agree to disagree. We'll figure it out. Anyway, okay. So, anything else going on? Is that it?
Nope. Happy Halloween.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
I know it's technically in a few days from when you'll be listening to this, but...
Yeah, so we're going to tell you happy Halloween now, and we'll have all kinds of stuff to talk about on our next podcast, because we'll be talking about everything that happened.
If we had any experiences, or just, like, how it was there, if we talked to anyone.
The whole experience,
like,
yeah.
See if Gage has any experiences from when they stayed at the Stanley.
Yeah, we can interview Gage and maybe include them also. All right. Sounds like a plan, so... We hope everybody has a happy and safe Halloween.
Don't get too scary.
We'll see. Yeah,
The Shining is on HBO Max for free if you would like to watch it there. Because it's pretty hard to find The Shining, sometimes.
It is. I highly recommend you watch it. It's a really good movie.
I know that he didn't like it, but it was definitely like it's good for what it is. As long as you don't compare it to the source material, the movie's pretty good. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, it's not quite what he intended, but I think it's still an interesting movie, and like what they took and did with the characters.
Oh yeah,
it's a good Halloween movie.
I mean, it's a very good horror movie, so definitely watch it.
Yes,
it's one of my favorites.
All right.
Well, I guess that's it.
If you enjoyed our podcast today, follow us on Instagram at Two Scaredy Cats Podcast, and please be sure to leave a review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. It really helps the show get discovered. And tune in 2 weeks for a new episode. To all our scaredy cats and kittens out there, remember, curiosity didn't kill these two scaredy cats.